So how do those dynamics affect working meetings like the ones in Africa, the ones in Korea that you referred to, the one in Ecuador? You say there's a diversity of voices and a diversity of willingness to bridge those gaps. How does that diversity reflect itself in those meetings that you have?
It depends on the context. The primates meetings, the meetings of presiding bishops and archbishops around the communion, the last one we had was in January in Ireland, and 6 or 7 of the 38 stayed away because they didn't want to be in the same room with me and the Archbishop of Canada, because they're still mad. But the meeting was productive. We focused on why we meet. We think it's to build those partnerships for God's mission, and that we're diminished when some people decide not to come. But people in that meeting committed to the work of reconciling with the people who were absent, with the guys who decided not to come. And we continue to work at that. We can't fix it overnight. It takes some conversion of heart on the part of everybody. And the only person we can work on is ourselves in the midst of that. If you're having an argument with your brother or sister or with somebody at school, how do you fix it?
I walk away.
Well, some people, that's right, some people do that. What other ways are there of trying to fix it?
Compromise.
Exactly, that's another way. And what does compromise require?
Neither side getting what they want.
Or everything, or getting everything they want. Yeah. And some people just stand there and keep yelling at each other, which usually isn't productive. Walking away at least gives people a time to cool off. But it's hard work, and it's scary for many people. But that's what we're called to do.
Okay. Other than the Bible, what's your favorite book to read?
Other than the Bible, what's my favorite book to read? I like lots of different kinds of books. When I was your age or a little older, I was reading about Jacques Cousteau, although it was way before he had a TV program. He was the guy who invented the scuba, how to dive with a tank of oxygen on your back. He called it the aqualung. And I was reading books about the people who first flew airmail routes in South America and Africa. And I was reading about explorers in Antarctica and the Arctic. What do you like to read?
I like action books or books with magic.
Oh, wow. Harry Potter? You read the Harry Potter? Mm-hmm. Pretty good.
And then, this is a short question. Do you know what the B stands for in scuba?
Breathing.
Okay, because
Self-contained underwater breathing apparatus.
Okay.
Do you have a question? Where did you come from this morning? Where do you live? Oh, so you had a sleepover. Did you do any sleeping? A little bit? Good, I'm impressed. How about you? Where did you come from this morning?
My house in West Peoria.
In West Peoria, okay. Glad you're here with us today. Do you have any questions?
Have you met any presidents?
Have I met any presidents? Yes. I met the last president of Ecuador. I met the last president of Haiti. And I've met President Obama a couple times. And let me think if there are any others. Those are all I can think of right now. Have you? Which one would you like to meet?
I don't know.
Okay. He wants to be the president. You may have met the next one, or one some years down the road. Who else?
No.
Have you ever gone over to England and been to the church over there?
Yes, actually, I've been to England several times and done things in churches there. Trying to think. The first time I went as a bishop or on church-related business was right before I took office as presiding bishop. My predecessor, the last presiding bishop, invited me to go so that he could introduce me to the Archbishop of Canterbury. And it was a very helpful meeting. I've been back several times. The Lambeth Conference, have you heard about that? The bishops of the Anglican Communion get together every 10 years, and that happened in 2008 at the invitation of the Archbishop of Canterbury. Let's see, I was in that's okay. I was in England a couple times in the last year to preach in cathedrals. I preached in London at St. Paul's Cathedral, and I preached in Southwark Cathedral and presided at Eucharist. And I was, right before the Lambeth Conference, I was in Salisbury, the Diocese of Salisbury, together with all the bishops of Sudan, because Salisbury Diocese has a relationship with the province of the church in Sudan.
That's cool.
Wonderful, wonderful experience. They were observing the 750th anniversary of the new cathedral in Salisbury. And they had a pilgrimage from the ruins of the old cathedral, which is 1,000 years ago, into the city center to where the new cathedral is. It's kind of mind-boggling to think about the church being that old.
It is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite sport, and do you play it?
What's my favorite sport, and do I play it? I run every day, and you could call that a sport. I don't race anymore. I fly. Some people would call that a sport. I like to climb mountains and go backpacking, and I only get to do that about once a year. But my husband and I went backpacking in the mountains of northern Nevada this summer, up over 10,000 feet. It was just glorious. What sport do you like?
Soccer.
Soccer, okay. Good deal.
Do you have any children?
Yes, we have a daughter who's 30. She's a pilot in the Air Force. And she's married but doesn't have any children yet.
Wow.
She flies AWACS. Great big airplane with a radar dome on top. You may have seen those. It's like a 707 with a 30-foot flying saucer attached to the top of it. Yeah. They do surveillance and airborne traffic control. So. He's got the skills to be a president.
If you could go to any country, what would it be?
If I could go to any country, what would it be? Where haven't I been yet? Oh, I haven't been to India yet, and I think that's probably the place I have most questions about. I haven't been on the Indian subcontinent. And I'll probably get there before I'm finished with this work. But where would you go?
Europe.
Europe. Okay. Which country? Or which countries?
Italy's the best.
What's the greatest about Italy?
Oh, I just liked the beauty of it, and it was just this past summer I went on a Europe trip. It was 14 or 15 days in Europe. Started in London and made our way to Italy and went through Paris, and then we went to Lucerne in Switzerland, and then hit up a few spots in Italy, and Italy was my favorite.
What struck you? Was it that it was like here or different or?
To me, it was almost similar to the Midwest in a weird way. There was just like open plains, but it was warm like Florida would be. So it was the best of two worlds to me. So it was just one of those awe-striking natural beauties to me. I always enjoy that.
You'd like to go back?
Definitely. I'd like to go to a few more places in Europe and then go somewhere else. Maybe South America or Africa, I don't know. Travel the world. My goal before I die is to hit up all the continents.
Wow. Well, you've got a good start. Are you a student?
Yep, I'm a senior in high school right now.
Okay. I visited the church in Florence. St. James in Florence is part of this church. And they have a significant number of university students who go and spend a semester or 6 months or even a year in Florence studying art or Italian or European politics. And there's a significant ministry of the church to those students. That's one way to go and spend more time and learn more about the world.
Yeah.
Do you have a question?
Well, what is your favorite country like to go to and visit?
Probably depends on what I want to do.
Like for fun?
I really like the out of doors. So if I can go hiking or go into the mountains, go exploring. I said we met in Quito in Ecuador week before last, and that's a very beautiful place. It's high in the mountains. Quito is above 9,000 feet, and the mountains around it go up to 14 or 15 or even higher. I would love to go back there and spend more time, not just in meetings.
I'll take that now. Unless someone along the way wanted it. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Anne.
Anne, nice to meet you.
And just by quick way of, I grew up in this parish. And I lived in Chicago for 10 years and was part of a great small parish up there that did a lot of outreach and had a very a wonderful mix of young to old and diversity of all sorts. And so I've always appreciated my Episcopal experience. And these are my children, Emma, who is 9 and in 4th grade, and Gino, who is 7 and is in 2nd grade and has lost his first front tooth, so he looks pretty cool. But I wanted to express gratitude for there being an Episcopal church in Peoria, because it has been a good experience for me, and so I'm happy to expose my children to that. And I just wanted, either as bishop or as mom, or I guess, what message would you have for the children?